Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Well, we appreciate you coming on with us as always. Can you describe to us any of the emotions that go through you throughout an utter tail kicking of the Buccaneers?
Well, I can just tell you this. You never, especially it reminds you after watching the games this weekend, you never can have a big enough lead, and especially against a player like Tom Brady, you really never rest at peace until probably about halfway through that fourth quarter when we went for it on 4th and 3 and hit CD. You finally were getting a little oxygen. But, obviously, playoff football, nothing's bigger, nothing's better. It's win or go home, and we all knew what we were up against there, playing one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, probably the greatest quarterback of all time, and knew we were going to have our hands full, but our guys just they were great in all phases. I mean, obviously Dak played at a huge level, got off to a little slow start there in the first 2 drives, but the rest was history. And then thought the defense was just outstanding, and obviously had a few hiccups there with our extra points. But other than that, I thought we played really well on special teams, and it's just a great performance. But certainly we enjoyed that last night, and now it's in the rearview mirror, and it's on to San Francisco, which obviously is playing at a high level themselves. I think they got the biggest winning streak in football right now, and just look forward to the challenge and hopefully having another great week of practice and going from there.
Stephen, I think for a lot of the fans out there, and for us too, we've grown up as fans. We've been here our whole lives. There is a sense of relief for Dak, or a sense of relief for Mike McCarthy, a kind of a sense of relief for the organization to have that kind of moment. Did you have that feeling of last night after it was all said and done? Was there a sense of relief for you that you got a win?
I just think you call it what it is. I mean, anytime you win a playoff football game, it's huge. I mean, I know it's been a while since we've won a long time since we've won one on the road. I think it goes back almost 30 years ago against the 49ers. And anytime you win a playoff game, it's just a big deal. And, all the intensity, all the work leading up to it certainly plays into it. But to come away with a big win and be able to, take the next step, and we head out to San Francisco now, and certainly, played one of our better games of the year, and ready to continue to respond.
Now, when you're talking about best game of the year or one of the better games of the year, we were talking about, given the stakes and everything, do you look at this performance by Dak Prescott? I know there's more to go, but at this moment, did that feel like perhaps Dak Prescott's finest hour?
Well, he's certainly one of his best. I mean, you don't get a bigger stage than that. As I said, playoff football on the road against probably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. It's a huge performance, and he was pretty much flawless in terms of his play last night. And, his leadership's always to the nines. He's a big reason, I think, why we had such great practices all week. Offense, defense, really had their best week. And, the big thing is now, is to follow it up. And certainly I know Dak and our leadership on our football team will lead the way. Coach McCarthy, obviously, with his staff, will, I know, get our team prepared. And this is why you do it. It's going to be a huge game. Obviously, the Cowboy 49er rivalry goes way back in terms of some of the huge playoff games that we played, and we've gotten our share of them. They've gotten their share of them, but this will be as big as it gets, and we just look forward to the challenge.
I know you've told us this. It is difficult the day after. I'm curious, just general feeling, or if you have any specifics about, Curse, Peters, maybe even Armstrong in terms of health going forward.
Yeah, I just think, obviously we got in wee hours of the morning this morning, and hadn't really gotten a great feel for anything yet, but hopefully those guys are going to make a fast recovery and be ready for the 49ers.
This morning when Jerry was on, he shared a story about Micah leaving a baseball bat in all the lockers and then leaving one on his desk as well, and it said, "Bring the wood." And I was just kind of curious, did you happen to get a baseball bat also, or was there one on your desk?
Yes, absolutely. And, that's some unique things about Dan Quinn and what he does and, in terms of motivating, his group and what he's all about. But, I do think, certainly unique and in terms of the gift. And I think the guys responded well.
Do you have a go-to item that you would hit with that bat if you were angry?
Usually the media is.
That's very fair. If we're going to dish it out, we better be able to take it. I hear you. I do.
Yep, probably so.
I'd line a few of them up every now and then and take that bat to them. But no, in all seriousness, it's just to me, it of course represents what Coach Quinn wants out of our defense, and certainly. They brought it last night and in a big way and played at a high level. And we just got to continue to do that now.
There was a point last night, Stephen, when they had scored already, and then they got another opportunity, and they went tempo, and it was up-tempo football. And I was kind of curious, was that something that maybe Kellen had noticed, they got this specific package, I want to make sure we push that, or is that just something that the Cowboys like to do to take advantage of a specific time of the game?
Yeah, I think it's just something that Kellen likes. We get in a rhythm. If we're executing, we get that first down. You get in a rhythm and you roll. And I think it's something that Dak enjoys. He's able to obviously do a lot of the work from the line of scrimmage when you don't huddle there. You keep the other team from being able to substitute if you keep your guys in there, and it's something that's been effective for us. But I do think it does help your offense get in a rhythm and execute.
Now, you mentioned there was a couple of hiccups here and there. I think the biggest one is going back with Brett Maher. Is what will be the protocols for the week, and will you guys bring in competition? How will that go?
No, we'll just obviously evaluate his situation. Won't make any comments on it right now, but certainly we all know that hadn't been, typical of his performances this year. He's been a great kicker for us, and fully expect him to respond and rebound and make his kicks going forward.
Tony Pollard last night, I think it was the second drive. They kind of felt each other out, but it seemed like Tony Pollard, he had that big 18-yard run. It seemed like he came really to play last night, had that kind of look about him, and he got a lot of the touches. I'm kind of trying to figure out what that says about the relationship with him and Zeke and where the running game is. Is it Tony's running game right now?
No, I just think it's, a little bit who's got the hot hand, a little bit who's, the scheme and our game plan. And, those guys just are a great tandem. And there's, I'm sure as we move forward, who knows, against the 49ers, it could be reversed. So it's just great to have two, great backs like that compete, that root for one another and just want to win football games. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And certainly Tony was having a great night last night and played well. And Zeke dished out his share of physicality on him as well. And I think, that type of, change up is really good, can be really good for your running game, and certainly it was last night.
The tight end position, Stephen, y'all have some depth there, and we've talked about it, a lot this season because it's been successful even in the depth part, but there Dalton Schultz is open for touchdowns. He and Dak have such a special connection. Do we kind of sometimes take Dalton Schultz for granted because he's had a pretty good season too?
Yeah, I mean, he really has. He's always been steady. As you said, I think Dak has a lot of confidence, not unlike Romo and Witten had in their day, and to some degree Dak and Witten. Dalton's so dependable. I think Dak has a ton of confidence that he's going to be where he wants him to be, and certainly, can make the plays. So, he had a big night last night for us, an integral part of us moving the football like we did, and just a guy I know Dak can depend on, and doing a great job for us this year.
As long as we're talking about potentially underappreciated players, can I go ahead and throw LVE out into that mix as well?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think, it just felt like having his presence back out there, his leadership, what he does from a physicality standpoint, from that linebacker spot. I just think he brings a lot more to the table. And as you said, probably a little underappreciated in terms of, what our fans think of him. And he's just been done a great job for us this year.
So when it comes to your next opponent, Brock Purdy has been outstanding as a rookie quarterback. I'm wondering, does he remind you all of 2016 Dak Prescott?
Yeah, I mean, you got hats off to the guy. He's just winning football games, and that's exactly what Dak did. I mean, the name of the game in this league is win. And certainly Dak stepped in for Tony then, and all he did was win football games for us. And coming as a middle-round pick, I think one thing about Dak, in terms of pedigree, I do think Dak would have gone higher, but he had a little off-field thing during the draft, and which probably hurt him some, or I think Dak would have gone even higher. But this, your hats off to what the 49ers are doing and what they're accomplishing, with a guy who I think was the last pick in the draft and certainly playing at a high level. But I know Dan will have a great game plan for him, and hopefully we can, cause some roadblocks there in terms of his progress as a pro.
Stephen, last night I was kind of paying attention. I think it was a 4th and 3, and Tampa Bay decided to punt. And I was like, man, that was kind of conservative there. And the Cowboys last night had two what I thought were significant risky moments that turned out successful. Actually, both of them were touchdowns for the team. And when Mike McCarthy's been a risk taker since he got here, do you think the way he treats, being that way all the time, even in regular season, like there's some sort of payoff in the playoffs whenever it comes that time that these guys know, hey, we're going for this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just shows Mike shows his confidence in Kellen and the offense and what we can do. And, I must say you look around the league and you see it all around the league in terms of more and more people going for it on 4th down. Obviously, analytics play a role in this. All head coaches now are aware of what those analytics are and what your chances are and what the payoff is. And, Mike's always cutting edge in terms of, in terms of those areas and, doing a great job with it. But I think it also shows the confidence he has in our offense and Kellen and our personnel.
Don't worry, Steven. I was so excited about the win. I had a coughing fit to begin the show as well. So I feel you. And as soon as you coughed, everyone in the room pointed at me. So I understand. Now, I know you guys are focused on San Francisco. Just the last thing I was curious about, if this is the end, what would it mean to know that potentially the Dallas Cowboys retired Tom Brady?
Well, certainly it would I'm just glad we got him once. I think he was undefeated coming in here, and glad we finally can put that on our resume that we got probably arguably the greatest player of all time in terms of Tom Brady and what he's accomplished. But I'm sure there's a lot more things that go into that loss last night that are going to go into his decision-making, his career. What an amazing career, what an amazing man he is. And I'm sure he'll give this as he does everything that he does. He'll take a lot of time to decide what he wants to do, I'm sure, and wish him nothing but the best.
Stephen, I have a trivia question here for you to kind of end this. The last time the Cowboys won a road playoff game was 1992 until this last night. Do you know who finished second in the MVP voting in 1992? Your hint is he's a former teammate of yours.
Oh, wow. I should be able to get that then. Second in MVP.
Second in MVP in the NFL, and he's a former teammate of yours.
Oh, man. Boy, I'm at a loss.
I'll give you a hint. He ran for 1,690 yards that year. Now it gives you the position.
And what year was it?
1992.
1992. Was it? I guess it wasn't McFadden, was it?
Well, I think you're older than McFadden, right?
Yeah, I just thought maybe you were confused. I'm so young.
It's Barry Foster.
Unbelievable. I should get that because Barry's a great back and made a lot of great plays for us at Arkansas, and what a great pro. Good for him.
There's your trivia day. And we might have insulted. He's very young looking. All right, Mike. So you be nice. Thank you very much, Stephen. We appreciate the time as always, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Great being on, guys. Take care.